Hey everybody, it's Erin from the Lettering Fern, and I am here today to tell you all about Zebra's metallic brush pens. So it's a pretty new product, but they're awesome. They're so juicy, and they are great for lettering, making all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to start off just by showing you the basics of lettering, just one of each stroke. I'll also include a small practice sheet that just has one of each stroke so you can practice with. So our first ones are our upstrokes and our downstrokes. With those, you really just want to make sure that everything you need to remember is thin upstroke, thick downstroke. So when you're doing your upstroke, you just want to start at the bottom. You just want to use the very tip of the pen and just do a small curve upward. Super thin, super great. Downstroke, you start at the top, you push hard down to the bottom. And then you can do a combination of an upstroke into a downstroke. So the important thing to remember is thin upstrokes, thick downstrokes. So the next one is called an overturn. So you're kind of do like an upside down U. So you're just going to start down at the bottom, thin stroke up, push down thick. There's your overturn. The next one is an underturn, so it's just the opposite. It's basically like a U, but you start off with your thick stroke because you're going down first. So thick, and then you go thin up. Next one is tricky. It's an oval. And instead of starting at the top like you think you would normally would, you should start over to the right side of the oval. And you do half of the thin up, thick down, and the other thin half going up. That way you don't end up with like a wonky oval. Then the last ones are our loops. So we have an ascending loop, which means you kind of start in the middle, go around and down. You would use this for K's or L's, stuff like that. And the other one is like you would use for J's and G's and stuff like that is your descending loop. So you go thick down, thin to the middle. So there's your basic strokes. Practice them. It's the building blocks of all of your stuff. It'll help you with your lettering. And yeah, so now we're on to some simple words. Okay, so I want to talk to you next about just some simple connections when you're making your letters. So for example, A, you're going to start with an oval. So do a thin up, thick down, connect, and then you're going to do a thick downstroke. B, you're going to want to start with that ascending loop. So start in the middle, thin up, thick down, and then you're going to add in it's kind of a mixture of like an overturn and then a little cross. As you get better and more comfortable with your lettering, you can definitely add your own style to it. Oh, I forgot one basic stroke from earlier. It's called the compound curve. It's pretty important because you use it for letters like H's and N's and stuff like that. You start off with your thin upstroke, thick downstroke, and then you go back into a thin upstroke. So when you would use this, you would do your ascending loop. And I'll change colors so you can see. And then you would start off with your compound curve. So you go thin up, thick down, thin up. So just different things like that to connect your strokes, your letters. I'll do a couple more letters so you can see. I'll speed this part up though. So. Now I just want to show you a few simple words. I'll do hello, love, and then maybe we'll think of one other word. And I'm going to do a different color for each stroke so you can see how to break it apart. So you start with the ascending loop. Then you go into the overturn or compound curve. Then for your L's, you want to do those ascending loops. The key with lettering and stuff like this is you always want to make sure you're picking up your pen and breaking up your strokes. Then the last letter, the O, is obviously the oval. Then let's do, for the word love, you'll start with your ascending loop for your L. Do your oval for your O. And you are finished with your words. I'll include these 2 words on the practice sheet as well. So now what we're going to lead into is kind of doing just a simple wreath using the metallic brush pens. It's nice because the tip is super flexible, so you can do stuff like make leaves, you can make some hearts. So we're going to have some fun. Stick around. Okay, I have this little circle maker, but you can just as well trace a bowl or a cup or anything that you might have at your house. I just like this because it's fun, easy, quick, and I get a perfect circle. So you're gonna start off just by getting your basic circle shape. If you want to freehand it, go for it. And then just pick your colors to start doing your leaves. So as you're doing your leaves, you're just gonna want to kind of like light pressure and then thick pressure and then light pressure again to do one side. And then you just come to the other side and do the same thing. You just want to keep building on those leaves. Okay, you can make it look messy or clean, however you want. Colors if you want. Draw some little flowers. I need to turn my paper. And maybe you want to add in some little like Then once you get your basic wreath done, you can go back in and add your word. So I'm just going to write love. So again, you can go in and erase any pencil marks you might have, but yeah, you can make it as simple or as complex as you want. You can add more, you can add less, just play around with different combinations of different flowers and stuff like that. Thanks, guys.